summoning the vengeful Bloody Mary in the mirror. Welcome to another hair-raising episode of Are Ghosts Real? Today, we embark on a creepy journey into the depths of supernatural creatures and mirrors as we unravel the haunting tale of Bloody Mary. In our recent history, the figure of Mary I of England emerges as a haunting presence. She was the daughter of Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon, and her reign was marked by religious turmoil. With a desire to restore Catholicism, she ordered the execution of countless religious dissents. The nickname Bloody Mary became synonymous with her ruthless pursuit of faith, leaving a trail of blood in her wake. The terror of her reign echoes through time, linking her to the chilling legend of Bloody Mary. There is also suspicion that Elizabeth Bathory, a Hungarian countess of the 17th century, carries a legacy steeped in horror. The tales of her sadistic acts of torture and murder are whispered in fearful tones. It is said that she bathed in the blood of young girls and women, believing it would grant her eternal youth. The connection between Elizabeth Bathory and the chilling legend of Bloody Mary begins to take shape. Her monstrous acts in association with bloodshed contribute to the macabre legacy of Bloody Mary. Then there is also Mary Worth's story, which intertwines with two harrowing tales. Some believe she was a woman who hunted down and murdered slaves attempting to escape via the Underground Railroad. In the dead of night, she mercilessly extinguished their hopes of freedom. Others claim she was a victim of the witch trials, burned at the stake for her alleged involvement with dark arts. Mary Worth's name becomes entangled with the chilling legend of Bloody Mary, shrouded in ambiguity. All these ferocious women and their actions, whether as a vigilante or a victim, further add to the mystique surrounding Bloody Mary. The summoning ritual has become synonymous with Bloody Mary. Gathered in front of a mirror, participants dim the lights and repeat her name for at least 3 times.
Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary.
This macabre act is believed to invite the spirit of Bloody Mary to manifest and reveal herself. Only mentioning her name will send shivers down the spine, as participants brace themselves for a confrontation with the supernatural. The summoning ritual, steeped in mystery and anticipation, sets the stage for terrifying encounters. Those who have summoned Bloody Mary recount a bone-chilling presence that fills the room. Witnesses describe feeling an icy chill, whispers in the dark, and even physical contact from unseen hands. The apparition of Bloody Mary herself is said to appear, her bloodshot eyes and pallid visage leaving an indelible mark on their souls. The haunting presence of Bloody Mary lingers long after the summoning, forever haunting those who dare to invoke her name. The supernatural atmosphere and eerie encounters intensify the sense of dread associated with Bloody Mary. The curse of Bloody Mary is said to follow those who dare to summon her. Nightmares plague their sleep, tormenting visions haunt their waking hours, and unexplained scratches and bruises appear on their bodies. The curse serves as a grim reminder of the risks involved in dabbling with the supernatural. Once the curse is unleashed, its grip is relentless, haunting individuals and inflicting psychological and physical torment. The curse of Bloody Mary becomes an inescapable nightmare for those who dare to delve into her dark realm. Some believe redemption can be found within the Bloody Mary legend. Brave souls venture into the unknown armed with rituals and a desire to understand the tormented spirit. They seek to offer solace and release Bloody Mary from her eternal torment, hoping to find peace for both her and themselves. Through acts of compassion and empathy, they aim to break the cycle of darkness that engulfs Bloody Mary's spirit. The pursuit of redemption becomes a beacon of hope amidst the horrors associated with Bloody Mary. Legend has it that those who summon Bloody Mary face dire consequences. The curse she carries with her can unleash a torrent of nightmares, haunting dreams, and unexplained phenomena. Some individuals report scratches and bruises appearing on their bodies after the summoning, as if the vengeful spirit reached out from beyond the mirror to inflict physical harm. Others speak of psychological torment, with their sanity slowly unraveling under the weight of relentless nightmares and inexplicable occurrences. The curse of Bloody Mary is a reminder that dabbling with the supernatural comes with grave risks. As word of the curse spread, individuals who had experienced the wrath of Bloody Mary began to come forward. One such victim, Rachel, reluctantly agreed to share her story. She had summoned Bloody Mary out of curiosity, not fully comprehending the consequences that would follow. At first, she dismissed the scratches on her arms as mere accidents, attributing them to everyday clumsiness. But as the scratches grew deeper and more frequent, Rachel realized that something sinister was at play. Night after night, Rachel's dreams transformed into vivid nightmares. She found herself trapped in a twisted reality where the walls bled, and monstrous apparitions chased her relentlessly. Sleep became an unbearable ordeal, and the lines between dreams and reality blurred until she could no longer distinguish one from the other. Fear consumed her, and paranoia gnawed at her sanity. Desperate for answers, Rachel sought the help of paranormal experts, hoping they could break the curse that held her captive. Together, they embarked on a journey to unravel the dark secrets behind Bloody Mary's curse. They studied ancient texts, consulted with psychics, and conducted meticulous rituals in an attempt to lift the curse's oppressive weight. As they delved deeper into the mysteries surrounding Bloody Mary, they discovered a tragic past that fueled her rage. The spirit of Mary was said to be that of a young woman who had suffered a gruesome fate, wronged by those she trusted most. Bound by an unbreakable desire for revenge, she sought solace in tormenting those who dared to summon her, relishing in their fear and suffering. Driven by empathy and a glimmer of hope, Rachel and the paranormal experts continued their quest for a solution. They scoured ancient tomes, seeking a ritual that could potentially offer redemption and release for Bloody Mary's tormented soul. Night after night, they performed the rituals, offering prayers and pleas for mercy to a spirit they could not fully comprehend. As their determination grew, so did the presence of Bloody Mary. She taunted them, appearing in fleeting glimpses, her bloodshot eyes filled with malevolence. The closer they came to unlocking the truth, the more desperate and violent her manifestations became. Objects flew across the room, and disembodied voices whispered chilling threats in their ears. But Rachel and her companions pressed on, fueled by a relentless belief that even the most malevolent spirits could find peace. And then, one fateful night, as they conducted a ritual in a long-abandoned chapel, a breakthrough occurred. The atmosphere shifted, and a sense of calm washed over the room. In the mirror before them, Bloody Mary's reflection transformed. Her features softened, and tears glistened in her bloodshot eyes. Rachel and the experts could sense her pain, her longing for release from the curse that bound her. With trembling voices, they pleaded with Bloody Mary, offering her forgiveness and understanding. They acknowledged the injustices she had suffered and expressed their desire to help her find peace. In that moment, a radiant light enveloped the room, and Mary's spectral form began to fade. Her tormented soul found solace, finally free from the curse that had consumed her existence. Rachel, forever changed by her encounter with Bloody Mary, became an advocate for understanding and compassion. She shared her story, hoping to warn others of the dangers that lie within the summoning ritual. She urged caution and respect when dabbling in the supernatural, emphasizing the importance of empathy and seeking redemption for restless spirits. Through Rachel's journey of redemption, a glimmer of hope emerges. Perhaps deep within the darkness lies the potential for forgiveness and release, even for the most vengeful spirits. The legend of Bloody Mary continues to haunt the hearts and minds of those who dare to believe in the power of the supernatural. From generation to generation, her story has been passed down, each retelling adding new layers of horror. The tales of her summoning rituals, chilling encounters, and relentless curse have become part of our collective nightmares. The legacy of Bloody Mary endures, captivating and terrifying those who delve into her dark realm. Mirrors hold a special connection to the spirit of Bloody Mary. They become portals through which she can cross over into our world, leaving an indelible mark on those who dare to invoke her. Mirrors used in summoning rituals retain a residual energy, causing strange occurrences and eerie reflections long after the ritual is performed. Some claim to see distorted faces or fleeting glimpses of a blood-soaked figure lurking in the glass. The haunted mirrors serve as a constant reminder of Bloody Mary's presence. In the darkest corners of our minds, the legend of Bloody Mary continues to echo. The very mention of her name sends shivers down our spines. Whispers of her chilling encounters, her wrath, and her curse reach out to those who dare to listen. The stories become intertwined with urban legends, passed down through generations, each retelling adding a new layer of horror. The whispers of fear surrounding Bloody Mary serve as a reminder of the power of belief and the enduring impact of her terrifying tale. Beyond the supernatural elements, the legend of Bloody Mary holds a profound psychological impact on those who delve into its dark depths. The human mind is a fragile entity, easily swayed by the power of suggestion and the weight of our deepest fears. The belief in Bloody Mary can trigger a cascade of anxiety, paranoia, and sleepless nights. It taps into our primal instincts, reminding us of our vulnerability and our innate dread of the unknown. The psychological impact of Bloody Mary's legend serves as a testament to the enduring power of our imaginations. Despite the numerous accounts and historical candidates, the true origins and nature of Bloody Mary remain shrouded in mystery. It is a legend that has fascinated generations, leaving us with more questions than answers. Is she a vengeful spirit seeking retribution for past injustices, or a psychological manifestation born from our deepest fears? The answers elude us, hidden in the darkest recesses of our imagination and the annals of history. The enigma of Bloody Mary persists, reminding us that some mysteries are destined to remain unsolved. As we conclude our exploration of the legend of Bloody Mary, we are left with a profound sense of unease. The tales, the rituals, and the encounters continue to resonate in our minds, forever etching themselves into our collective consciousness. Bloody Mary is more than a mere legend. She is a reflection of our deepest fears and a testament to the enduring power of the human imagination. Her story will continue to be told, whispered in hushed tones, and passed down through generations, ensuring that her terrifying legacy lives on. She warns us that even the most innocent actions can have dire consequences if we are not mindful of the darkness that lurks beneath the surface. The tale of Bloody Mary serves as a stark reminder of the fragile balance between light and darkness within us all. Share your thoughts and experiences with us in the comments below, and stay tuned for our next spine-chilling episode of Are Ghosts Real?, where we venture further into the abyss of the supernatural, unearthing more terrifying mysteries that lie beyond the veil.